All right.
Welcome everyone to the Best Damn Podcast on YouTube, talking about Survivor. I'm Dave. With me, as always,
I am Sheila, also known as Dave's mom.
that's true. I actually I haven't said your name. I've just said my
I know.
mom. No, okay,
That's okay.
fair.
I do have a name though. It's
Do
good.
you want me to change the thing at the bottom
No,
there?
no, mom
Because
is fine.
mom's fine. Okay.
Mom's fine.
So, what did you think about this week's episode? I
Wow.
loved
Wow.
it.
I did like it. I particularly like the way they started out. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 9-14 or night 14 rather. And
Yep.
they're actually merged, okay, which is a first because this this is the first time they've never had a quote unquote merge feast.
Well,
They
no,
didn't
half the tribe got a merge feast because of the stupid
well, it wasn't
hourglass
really a
twist.
feast.
No, but
Oh,
Chanel last episodes, because she was on the losing tribe, she was like, wait, so there's no merge feast? And everyone's like, no, they won. They're eating.
right. They
I
got
can't remember what.
Applebee's. It was
Yeah.
Applebee's. They
Yeah,
got a feast.
exactly. So Chanel was like, wait, what? And yeah, if they keep doing the stupid hourglass twist, you're not going to see any merge feasts. I used to love
No,
the
I don't
merge
think so
feast.
either, right?
Put a
Um,
clue under a plate or in a napkin. Like, where's those days?
I know. I miss that stuff. But
Me
I
too.
like the way they centered on Mike and how he talked about everything, and he referred to who was it? Marianne, Tori, Chanel, and Romeo. I forget what animal he said, rats,
Snakes?
mice, scurrying to.
Snakes? Oh, when you turn the lights off, yeah, I think he said mice or rats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they scurry into the corners to find refuge or to chat, right? And they all did, right?
Well, what did Omar say at the last tribal council? He's like, everyone went to get firewood this afternoon, Jeff. The firewood pile's empty. Like
Yeah, I know,
everyone
right?
claims I need to go get firewood. Who wants to come with me? There's no
But there's still
firewood
no
there.
fire.
Yeah.
No, no. If you're going to use that excuse, bring back some firewood, right?
So Mike really hates Chanel.
Oh, wow, wouldn't you?
He's just over her.
She wrote his name down for no good reason.
I think I in Chanel's defense, and I know this sounds like a crazy sentence, but I feel like she wrote Mike's name down because she was being fed misinformation by everybody else.
No, there was only 4 people on the tribe when she did that. That's when
Yeah,
they
but she
were.
was the only one that voted Mike. So she obviously told everyone vote Mike. No one listened, and she wrote Mike
No.
down.
Oh, I wonder.
Right? Like, is that necessarily like I'm just being devil's advocate here.
Oh,
I
you
think
think?
Chanel wrote Mike's name down because someone told her, or she told everyone else and no one listened.
Well, it only could have because who was there? Hi, Mike, Chanel, and
Lydia?
Lydia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
Chanel was fed wrong information, or she thought she had everyone else but Mike convinced.
maybe.
And she just wrote like, I don't know. I was thinking about that as watching it the second time I watched it. And I'm like, I get she wrote your name down, Mike, and that's fair, and that's how Mike rolls, but it never got fully explained in the episode as to why she did it. She
No, I
tried
know.
to explain it away, but Mike wasn't
Well,
having
she
any of it.
tries to explain everything away.
That's a good point.
I'm sorry,
You're
I'm not.
my hey mom, you're my number one. You're my number one.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, exactly,
You're
right.
my number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised at how long there wasn't a commercial break in this episode.
I know.
This is why, and you can catch this on our Patreon page. I don't know when it's going to post up, but very soon, where we predict, who's gonna do what. But Mike has one of the better edits so far. Like, Mike isn't shown in a bad light, because right after this, he's talking about Omar and his religion and praying, and Mike's like, "Is it cool if I just chill here and ask questions?" And Omar's like, "Fine, yeah."
Yeah, just don't sit in front of me. But Mike is playing a 10 out of 10 um, personal
Social
game.
game,
Like, pardon me?
social game,
Yeah,
yeah.
like he's not making enemies with anybody.
Except Chanel, but I
Well,
can't think
no,
of
no,
anyone else on the cast that hates Mike or doesn't like him for whatever reason. Like, everyone loves him.
he doesn't like Chanel, but he doesn't go around to everybody else saying, talking about her all the time. He goes, yeah, he wants her voted out, but he's not, slamming her in the meantime, right?
That's true. He is very kind of curt when he says, like, he doesn't bash Chanel constantly, but if someone asks him about Chanel, he's like, "Yeah, I don't trust her. I'm not going to trust her again."
Yeah.
Conversation over. He doesn't
So,
just sit there and go, "And
no,
another thing." He doesn't do that.
no, yeah, which a lot of players do, right? Like Tori. Tori, I mean, you start Tori on a topic like that. Like, look at her at the Applebee's thing. She's like, blah 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 blah, and blah 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 blah. Right? Like she
Yeah.
doesn't shut her mouth.
Yeah. But I did kind of like the whole Omer and Mike thing really reminded me of him and Jonathan, or him and Drea from last week's episode. And he's just like, Mike is, I'm not gonna lie, I would say more of a threat than Jonathan right now. Maybe,
Absolutely.
right? But
Oh, win
he's
at last
not built like
outplay.
Jonathan, so he doesn't look like a threat like Jonathan does. But his social game is through the roof.
But if you look at outwit, outlast, outplay,
Hmm.
Mike has 2 out of 3, right?
That's a good point.
Outlast might be the one that he's gonna have some issues with. I mean, Jonathan, I think, can outlast, but the outwit, outplay,
That's a very
not
good
as
point.
strong as Mike,
That's a very good point.
I think. That's my opinion on that.
Um, and then this was actually a secret scene you can find on YouTube. I can't post it here in the video because the last time in our Survivor preview, when I posted the trailer and we talked about it, that didn't count. Um, I actually had to cut that out of the Survivor
Yeah,
preview video because, yeah. But one of the secret scenes shows them painting the flag supplies, the paint, and
really?
yeah, show up at like, they mention it when they talk about the reward challenge, but it kind of gets overshadowed in the episode. Did you notice the name of the new merge tribe?
Kula Kula.
Kula Kula. Do you know why it's called Kula Kula?
No, and I wondered.
So this is a secret scene. Omer did a bunch of research on birds from Fiji. And I cannot, I wish I had the page up, but I'm afraid of opening multiple windows so
Right,
my
these
camera doesn't
ones,
screw up. But there's a national bird of Fiji called the Kula. Oh, I cannot remember what it's called, but something like that. And then the rest of the tribe is like, "Oh, that sounds cool. Kula. Okay, let's do it twice." And Omar's like, "Okay." But yeah,
I
Omar came
forgot
up with the name. Yeah.
he's a veterinarian.
Yeah. Loves birds, hence the ostrich.
Apparently.
Yeah. So the secret scene, or the secret scene, shows them putting handprints and paint on the flag, and
Right,
it's a big thing in Survivor to write your name on the flag, like, I was here.
right.
But yeah, interesting
We
secret scene you can find on YouTube.
we haven't seen the flag yet.
Yeah, I actually went and rewatched the episode to see if I could see, like, any close-ups of it. I think it's a far away shot as they leave for tribal at the end of the episode,
Oh,
but
okay,
they
okay.
don't really give you any close-ups.
At one point, there is 2 people kinda obviously writing their names on the flag after it's hung up.
Hmm.
I can't remember who was doing it, but yeah, you didn't at that point. They didn't show you the actual flag.
But I didn't realize they actually send you like the oval of the logo. They send you two of those that you put up yourself on the front and back of your flag at your camp, and you
Huh,
just decorate it however you want. It's two blank tribe colors like purple because that's what the uh the
right?
buff is, or the merge tribe color. And
Yeah.
so yeah, you decorate wherever you want. So it's Kula Kula,
Oh,
names written on the front, handprints on the back. One thing I thought was kind of interesting when Marianne went to put her handprint on, she painted her hand three different colors. So when she put it on, it was like a three different handprint
oh,
sort
cool.
of. Yeah, I was like, oh,
Like
that's
a
kind of
wrinkle,
original. Everyone else just did red or blue. And she was like, oh,
right?
I'm going to paint my hand funny. And I was like, oh, I like that.
I gotta
Anyway,
find that and watch that.
yeah. But that's when they find out about the reward challenge, which it cuts right to it.
It
Um,
does.
we get another Jeff talking to the camera moment. Do you
Yep.
want to tell him what he tells the audience?
I'm starting to like Jeff, Mr. Jeff. So last season they did a water challenge. I can't remember if it was exactly the same, but it was very similar. Anyway,
The
there's
exact same, actually. Exact same
was it
challenge.
okay?
Yeah.
So there's 11 people. Okay, and there's going to be two teams. So oh right before. Okay, so anyway, anyway that is important that there's going to be two teams and 11 people because obviously somebody's going to be sitting out of this challenge,
Of course.
and there is what they call their sit out bench. And again,
Yep.
they did this last season. So Jeff tells you this time he takes a beware advantage and hides it on the sit out bench and says, we did this last year and nobody found it. This year, I'm going to be really disappointed if no one finds it.
Do you remember who didn't find it last season?
I know what he looks like, cannot remember his name.
Xander,
Yeah, Xander. But the
surfer
thing was,
guy. Yeah.
yeah, okay. And it's important. Um, but I'll
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
We'll get to that. But yeah, so Jeff hides the idol again. And you're right. I'm glad you mentioned that. I liked how he's like, if no one finds it again, I'm gonna be a little disappointed.
Yeah,
Okay, Jeff.
no
Just
kidding.
leave it by the fire like you did last season where anyone can trip over it. People will find it
Literally.
then. Jeez. Okay. So the two teams, actually, do you remember what the reward was?
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches
and
with
chips.
potato chips. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
Just
when they
like
get
your
there,
mommy would make. Yeah.
yeah, when they get there, like I say, there's 11 of them. So now Jeff has a bag of rocks, okay, with yellow and blue rocks and one gray one because one person has to sit this out.
Did you write notes on the teams?
No, I just kind of just noticed who got the gray rock and what happened after that.
Well, here's the weird thing I do whenever I'm taking notes on an episode. I'll actually stop and pause and write down the team names. So I can't remember the colors. I just wrote down team 1 and team 2, but you have Mike, Chanel, Tori, Jonathan, and Roxroy. On the other team, you have Hi, Lindsay, Omer, Romeo, and Marianne. Oh no, actually
Not
you have
Marianne,
Drea. You have Drea. That's right.
Drea. Okay, Drea's team was orange and Jonathan's team was blue.
Now, did you get Erica vibes from last season here? Because everyone felt bad for Marianne that she drew the gray rock.
Oh, I don't know that they felt really bad. They kind of were quiet, but I was actually fairly shocked when Drea jumped in and went, "Oh, I'll trade with her." And I thought, okay, you haven't seen last season. There's no way you could know that there's a clue hidden.
True. But she's also Survivor rich, so what does she have
She's
to
like,
lose? She
but her
doesn't even
excuse
like
is,
PB&J apparently, which is
I don't like,
crazy.
I don't like peanut butter and jelly. And I'm like, I mean, we all just looked at the TV like, what?
What?
Who are you?
Yeah, who
Anyway,
cast you? Let me speak to the casting director for CBS right now.
thank you. Okay,
Come on.
so the interesting part was Marianne was quite willing to switch and said at the time, basically, if I have the opportunity to repay you in any way, I will. Those are the most dangerous words you can ever say on Survivor.
The
Most, you
the
don't
the
ever
show
do it.
kind of the show kind of brushed over it too. Like
They did.
when she's like, "Oh yeah, any challenge, I'll pay it back," and then Jeff immediately goes, "Okay, so you're switching." I'm like, "Whew, that sentence got blown by real quick. That's a big
I,
deal."
yeah, I was waiting for it to maybe come out in tribal or something,
Mm.
and it didn't really, not the way I thought it would.
It'll
But
be
anyway,
it'll be the focal point of a future episode if the situation is reversed, and then it'll
oh, cool.
become the narrative of that episode, like 2
Everybody will
episodes
be
from now.
wanting.
Yeah,
See next
because once you
season.
get down to 6 people and Jeff goes, okay, who do you want to go with you? Okay, pick one more. And if she doesn't pick Drea in that scenario, that is the narrative of whatever episode that happens in, hands down.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, she has signed her it's like selling your soul.
So what'd you think of the challenge before we get to the Drea of it all?
I like that challenge, and what really, really surprised me is Lindsay and Jonathan were the first ones to go,
That
and
shot
Lindsay
of both of them diving, that's a great cinematic shot. Like
that was
that's a
beautiful.
drone sweeping through the course and they both had a perfect dive and just went for it. Great.
But, Lindsay was not that far behind Jonathan.
Nope.
Like,
Maybe a meter, 2 meters
yeah,
at best. Like,
like,
yeah.
and finishing it, like a minute. Like, she was not far behind him at all.
Lindsay is I don't know. She seems like an athletic kind of threat, like a physical threat. But I'm surprised that they haven't really shown that much this season,
Oh, I know. I
but
know.
yeah, I would say out of all the female characters or female
Yeah.
contestants, I would say Lindsay's the most like physically fit. I think she could bench more than Tori or Marianne or you know what I mean,
Oh, I'm pretty sure. I
right?
don't yeah, I agree totally. But anyway, we get down to the last person going, and it's Marianne. Okay. And I felt bad for her. She had my sympathy at that point, but she wasn't that far behind.
No, she was the
You know,
last one to
anyway.
go, and but yeah, she didn't have like who was that character from last season that was stuck on the beam or couldn't throw the
Oh,
basketball up? Blonde lady, God, made it all the way to final 3.
oh, right.
Lisa?
Heather?
No. Heather. So Marianne didn't have a Heather moment.
No,
She just wasn't as fast as everyone else on her team, but that
but she did
wasn't
okay. But
yeah.
I was a little concerned because the other team was already throwing balls into the basket. Unfortunately, they weren't going in.
Do you remember who was
Roxroy
throwing
was
this?
throwing, and
Roxroy could not hit a basket to save his life.
he couldn't even get close. But because none of them bounced off it, they all landed in front of him. Jonathan would pick it up and wing it back to him, right?
Yeah.
So he had lots of shots. And then, of course, Yellow catches up. They get up, and Omer gets up there and goes, boom, boom, boom. And now Jonathan's in the water going, hey, I'm going to give it a try. Whoosh, whoosh.
I
Somebody get in the water.
I absolutely loved that it came down to Omer versus Jonathan. That was so perfect.
That was
Like
perfect.
I could like you could see the terrified look in Jonathan's eyes where he's like,
I'm not
"Oh,
going to get through.
Omar can shoot some baskets. Okay, I better get up and take the reins here.
Well, and he wanted his peanut butter sandwich, right?
Right. I mean, it's no 8 eggs, 9 pieces of cheese, but
18 eggs.
18. Gotcha. Sorry.
18 eggs. Anyway,
Sorry,
okay.
Jonathan. My bad.
Yeah, but anyway, Jonathan gets up there and of course goes swoosh, 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 right? And
Yeah.
before Jeff could get the words, and this could be an upset out of his mouth, it was.
Yeah. Omar had 2 misses at the end there.
Well, and it bounced and the ball went flying, and Romeo was dog paddling to go get it.
Yeah.
Right.
That was I was really feeling for Omar there, because you see there's a shot where he sits down on the barge and hangs his feet off the barge, and he's just like, and it's like, oh, you almost beat Jonathan, man, but it's almost good that you didn't, like,
I know, right?
I actually, if he had a won that for his team, I think the whole episode, the narrative would have changed.
Everything would have turned around for him, let me tell you. But I thought they were going to win it. I really thought Omar was going to do this.
When Omar hit the third one, I was like, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening. It's happened. Oh, he missed. Oh, Jonathan's getting out of the water. Oh no, Jonathan's going to win this, isn't he? And just boom, boom. And I'm like, damn it. The problem is I like them both. So I'm not even that mad because I like Jonathan, but
I know. I know.
Okay.
So, okay, I got a question for you, Dave. There was a commercial then.
There sure was.
There was a commercial. Yep. So, and it was 2 Survivor players. Okay?
Yeah.
Do you remember it?
I don't.
Oh, darn.
I fast forward through commercials.
Oh, no.
I watch it like 45 minutes late so I could fast forward. There was a Survivor commercial?
Okay, this is not good. Well, Jess and Liam won't let me touch the remote because every time I fast forward, I always go over and I have to rewind, and it's a nightmare. Gotcha. So as soon as I grab the remote, they're like, no. I'm like, okay. So we watch commercials.
Okay?
Sure. So anyway, commercial comes on, and for the life of me, I cannot think of this player's name.
Okay.
So I said, because it was a brief little commercial, and I said, because Jess had walked out of the room, she comes back in, and I said, oh, Jess, what was that guy's name that played Survivor? Kind of a geeky guy, brownish hair, glasses.
Christian.
Talked. Yes. Okay, that's not what Jess said.
Christian.
Yes.
H something. I can't remember. He's like a professor. Yeah. The nerdy guy on David vs. Goliath.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, I'm describing this guy and I'm trying to imitate the way he talks and explains things. And Jess is like, Cochrane? And I went, no.
Marianne's Dreamboat? I don't know. Something like that.
Liam looks up from his phone at his mother and goes, and he was talking to a girl with kind of longish brown hair.
Drawing in the sand.
Huh?
Drawing in the sand. Yeah. I can't remember the female's name, but yeah.
Liam is describing this. I didn't even know he saw the commercial. I didn't even realize it.
Didn't even look up.
And then
saw everything.
Jess is sitting there and she's like, huh. And then I kind of looked at Liam and I thought to myself, wow, Liam, you and I just described probably over 150 Survivor players. How did I expect Jess to figure it out? Anyway, I was like,
yeah, that's definitely Christian. Yeah, it has to
be. It definitely is Christian. But I've rewatched that commercial 4 times and still couldn't remember his name.
He's the member of the Brochachos. He was alliance with the mayor of Slamtown. That was a great season.
Right.
Yeah. The giant wrestler guy, and they become BFFs. It reminds me of Jonathan and Omar so much. But Brochachos.
Yeah.
Nick won that season, I believe.
I could not think of his name. Anyway,
that's the Mason-Dixon line. That's the Mason-Dixon line alliance. Yeah.
Yes.
Love
So
that.
anyway, it was just funny the way all of a sudden Liam just looked up and just went, yeah, and he was talking to and described this person perfectly. I'm like, huh,
Yeah, it's like
oh,
out of nowhere, he just knows how to spell pterodactyl, and you're like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah,
impressive.
yeah,
That's a very good commercial break moment. I really got to come up with a graphic for this. That's a great story.
yeah. I don't know where it comes from sometimes, but yeah.
I
Anyway,
I love how it consistently happens every week. Like one of the commercial breaks in the episode, you have a story about it, and that's great.
it's only because they won't let me go near the remote,
True, that's true.
right?
So we kind of skimmed over Drea finding the advantage there.
Oh, we did.
Yeah. So
Now,
what do you think about Drea finding the advantage? Because they showed scenes of Xander last season looking and not finding it. So how does Drea find just sheer accident? Like she's the right
oh no,
person to be on
no,
that sit out
no,
bench?
no. Somehow she must be a big time Survivor fan going back because that's not last season wasn't the first time they've hidden a clue on a sit out bench. That has been done
True.
a few times before. So I'm thinking she was hoping there would be one, and that's why she wanted to go there.
Well, last week when you drew the gray rock, you gained power in the game. So maybe she's like, I don't want to be left out of this power, whatever it is.
Maybe. See,
Plus,
she's
she
thinking
already has
on it.
3 advantages. So
I know,
who
and now she's
cares?
got four.
She's got
Now
4. I
she's
cannot
got
believe
four.
that.
And she started looking right away. If you noticed her, she was cool about it. She pretended she was scratching her leg, looked under it,
Took off her
saw it,
shoes.
figured
Yeah.
out a way to grab it without being seen, stuck it in her pants. And that whole sticking an idol in your pants thing has just got me creeped out.
Isn't that crazy? Like where
Well,
you
what
have
else
to
are you going
like
to do with it?
hide stuff on your where else are you gonna put it?
You can't go, oh, hey, look what I found.
So I'd be curious, and I don't want to start a whole sexism thing, but like it's got to be harder for women though to hide stuff on their person because it seems like
Yeah, I
guys are
would think
allowed to
so.
wear cargo shorts and women are, and
Oh,
like
and
Drea was in like biker shorts or workout
yeah,
gear, like
yeah.
athletic wear, if you will. But
So how do you yeah, and so you got a bulge here that's not part of your body, obviously.
during a challenge, how many people are really looking? But
Oh,
like
and
I'm reminded of the scene in Shawshank Redemption where Andy Dufresne is like, what is it? Morgan Freeman is like, how often do you look at a man's shoes? Just
yeah,
seriously, how often? And it's not often.
yeah, yeah. And the other thing I thought of, Jeff goes, yeah, head on back to camp, and they're swimming back to camp. Okay, and I'm
Yeah,
thinking, okay, I know there's paper in there. How are those little
that's a
things
good
waterproof?
point. That's a good point. I've never actually that's never referenced on the show at all about can you dip it in water?
Well, I think about a lot of stuff, so
I've seen them thrown into the fire, thrown into a volcano, but I haven't witnessed a note just dipped in water and lifted back out. It's
well, it
got to
is
be some sort of
wrapped.
special ink.
It's still wrapped up,
Yeah.
right? So maybe the wrapping because it had to get wet before she got back to camp,
If
right?
if anyone knows, I would think so, but it's not like it came in like a container or something like
No,
that.
I know.
So if
I know.
anyone knows any more than we do, please leave comments down below.
Please, I would
I'm
I'd be curious.
very curious. So did you or did you not love that everyone's PB and J was wrapped in an individual paper bag?
Obviously, it's like your mom made your lunch.
I love that. I love that little tiny detail. They didn't have to do it, and it was a nice tiny detail.
Well, in that way, Jonathan doesn't grab six of them and just wolf them down in one bite.
Right, because did you make a note of how many calories he normally has a day? Did you write that down? Because I did.
I think it was like 5,000.
5,000. 5,000. He said 4 to 5,000 calories a
I,
day.
but keep in mind, breakfast is 18 eggs and 9 pieces of cheese.
True.
And
True.
grits, and grits, and
And
grits.
grits. And grits.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
What did you think? Because after they talk about the sandwiches and Jonathan's like, "Yeah, I love eating. I'm glad I got to eat because I'm a big guy." It cuts to Omer having kind of eyes and ears everywhere, which I thought was interesting.
Well,
Everyone thinks he's on the bottom, but he's not.
no, no. What now? Okay, so he does this little thing where he's like, "Yeah, I talk to so and so, and then I go talk to so and so doesn't know I'm talking to so and blah blah blah." At the very same time, Jess and I looked at each other and said, "Just don't get caught."
Oh, I think he's very good at not getting caught. He's not doing a Chanel everyone's my number one kind of thing. I think
No,
Omer even said last week's
that was
episode, he's like, I
swatting.
don't even suggest things. I just go, what do you think? That sounds like a great idea. Like he's not pitching anything. He's not giving anyone a spiel. He's just
No,
sort of
but
like, what do you think? Okay, here's what I think. Instead of being like, we have to get out Chanel or we have to get out Tori. He did
the
that with
fewer
Lydia last week, but
the fewer people in the game, the more they expect you to just talk to them, not everybody. And when people see him, just even, perception is everything. Okay.
no,
I mean, he could be talking about the fact that he's still a virgin with somebody, and somebody else might see that as game talk. You know what I mean? Just
that's
see him
true.
over there talking to so and so, go, oh, he's obviously plotting to get me out, kind
Yeah,
of thing.
what were you talking to Mike on the beach about for an hour? My
Yeah.
religion. Oh,
Oh,
really? Right? Just
okay.
someone has to doubt it. That's all it is. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like I said, just don't get caught.
So
He's
this is where we get to my favorite part in the episode. Drea
Drea.
finally gets to read the beware advantage. Do you want to
Did
do
you
you
like
want to
the way
take
she
it from
had
here
to
cuz I
find
love
it?
it.
Do you like the way she had to find it?
I
How she
loved
gets
it.
how she gets the red all over her hand,
Okay,
and then
so because I personally love this story from beginning to end. So she has to go to the water well by sundown and walk 5 paces and look under a coconut. And I personally love in Survivor whenever they talk about paces because no one knows how long a pace is ever.
I want
Ever
to
in
know who
Survivor,
pays
20
that out.
paces from this tree. I don't know how long's 20 paces, and they just walk normally. It's great. But then Drea notices a coconut that's already cracked.
Yeah.
That's about 5 paces away from the water well in a different direction. She picks up the cracked coconut. What does she find underneath it? I'll let you take it from here because I love this.
It's like a hole, okay? And she kind of is doing this.
Yeah.
Turns out that there is it's filled with liquid, red liquid. And so, because she's Drea, she just plunks her hand in, goes into, I would say, up to about here.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Okay. So
about
now
there.
it's
About there. Yeah.
all red. And she goes, oh, that was the don't get caught red handed reference. Anyway, so she goes over to the water well, washes it off, kind of. She thinks she's got it washed off. And then now she's got it, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to find my photos because I legit took a picture of
Oh, did
the
you? Oh, that's too funny. Okay,
note. I thought I took a picture of the actual note and I was like, oh, I wanna
okay. So anyway,
shoot, maybe I didn't.
to she gets back to camp,
Which one's
and
that? Oh,
Tori
never mind.
notices red on her arm. Okay, a little bit of red.
Because the note
And
says you don't want to be caught red-handed. You have to
yeah,
get it by sundown.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I love
So
that twist.
red-handed, literally. Anyway, Tori notices the red on her arm a little bit, and Drea passes it off as, oh yeah, it's paint from the flag paints, right? Which
Yeah.
haven't been touched. I would have said, oh, I scraped my arm. I guess I didn't get all the blood
Well,
off, is what I would have said.
Well, that's what Tori starts like, hey, are you injured? Are you bleeding? Like, is everything okay? And
Yeah.
Drea goes, no, it's paint. And Tori's like, okay.
What do you
Yeah, I was
think of
painting
that?
the flag. I was painting it in the woods
Yeah.
when no one could see me. I just
Right.
got a little on my arm. And then I love the shot of Tori looking over at the paint supplies, still wrapped in twine.
Yeah.
Nothing has
Yeah.
been touched.
Nothing. No.
Huh.
Anyway, Tori is a little concerned about this. She figures Drea's up
Drea's super sus.
now. She did mention it to Marianne, but then the subject got dropped because then we go to Drea figuring out what her advantage is,
Yeah.
right? And she's reading it, and it is the
Knowledge is
what do you
power.
call it?
Knowledge is
Which
power advantage.
knowledge is
Liana
yeah,
had the
knowledge
same
is
one
power.
last season when Xander handed her a fake idol. Yeah.
Yes. But Drea's in a better situation because she knows two people have idols.
But does she want to backstab Mike or High or
Marianne,
Marianne?
I'm
Yeah.
thinking Marianne.
Like, you think she's gonna pick Marianne, eh?
Oh, I think they're good
That's your
because
best option if I was her, to be honest.
okay, now wait, they have a hit list. Okay, they
Oh,
wanted Tori out, then Chanel, then Romeo, then Marianne. They couldn't take Tori because she had immunity, so they went after Chanel. If Tori gets immunity again, I would say Romeo's gone. But will this change? And will they go after Marianne
I
and
actually think
rival?
if Drea
Will
wants
Drea
to,
take?
they could not vote Tori and just go hard on Marianne. Like, why not? Two birds with one stone. Get someone out of the game and take their advantage.
Yeah,
Is Drea aloof enough or conniving enough to actually not let on what her plan is? Like,
what
if
you
she
really?
tells no one and just does it, that'd be huge.
Okay,
If
now
she
wait.
tells one person, I don't think it's a good
No,
idea.
I know. But she has been good at keeping her mouth shut. Okay. Two people know about her amulet because they were there at the time. Okay. And
Lindsay
that
and
was
High.
I and Lindsay.
Yeah.
Okay. She has told a few people about the fact that she has an extra vote.
She knows about Marianne's and Mike's just like they know about hers because that's the three phrase.
No, oh, the idol.
I don't
Right.
know who she's told about the extra vote though.
She's told a few people about the extra vote. She
Omer,
uses
she
that.
told the Alliance when Omer said he didn't have a vote last episode.
Yeah, she uses that when she needs to gain trust.
Right.
But this one, I don't think she's going to tell anybody, and not everybody knows she has an idol. Her own team, mind you, there's not many left on it.
So let me ask you
But
this.
she didn't tell Tori, Roxroy, or Romeo that she had the idol. She just said the phrase. Oh, Romeo had seen it when she found it. So Romeo
Yes,
would know she had
Romeo's tight. But what I'm saying is I think everyone else in the game just thinks Drea has one advantage. Just one
yeah,
advantage. Not
yeah.
she's got three. Everyone thinks she has one
You never hear
because she's
anybody talk
told
about it.
everyone about the one or
But
a
now she's
different
got
one.
four.
Yeah. She's
She's
Survivor
advanced.
rich. Survivor rich.
She thought she was last week. Now she really is.
I think she's the first survivor ever to have four advantages at one
At the
time.
same time.
Like
Yeah,
I've heard like Poverty, Russell had two idols at once,
yeah.
but no one's ever I don't know if
No,
anyone's ever even had three, now that I think
no, we
about it.
talked about it last week. No, I don't. I think you're right on that. But now
Hmm.
she's got four. She's got four.
So I know. Oh I she better not Liana this. It's a really good advantage that I don't hate. Like I like it more than the hourglass, but
Yeah.
you have to play it properly. You can't
Yes. Yeah. Timing is everything.
half-ass it. Yeah.
But anyway, now we go to day 16.
And
and
then
a
we get the
challenge.
challenge. There we go. We're on the same page.
And I'd like to rename this challenge the bargaining.
The bargaining. Okay. So I've watched like some of the older seasons, and I don't know if you've ever seen any, maybe if you remember the trailers from those seasons, like from like maybe 30 to 40. Jeff talks about in some of those trailers for next season on Survivor, he talks about the monster a bunch.
Yes.
And so this episode, Jeff legit audibly confirms that he is the monster,
That's what
because
I
next
heard.
season he might be more hungry.
Yes,
I
they said a monster might be hungrier. Yeah.
Yeah, might have a bit more appetite, as I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure what he says. But we get another, and to this episode, we're totally spoiled. Jeff talks right directly
Yeah.
to us.
I know.
What
I
does
love
he
it.
say?
Oh, I was going to let you do that.
Oh, okay. So he pretty much does the same thing he did earlier, where he goes, "This is the exact same from last season. I'm going to offer people a chance to not compete in the challenge for a single serving of rice, or if by the way, did you see the single serving of rice? That's a decent amount of rice. That's a decent bowl."
Too bad. Mind you, if you haven't eaten for 4 days.
Fair enough. I probably split it up into two or three.
No,
Um,
I wouldn't.
but he goes, if enough people can quit out of the like not compete in the challenge, I'll give a bag of rice for 4 days, which you can ration to be a lot longer. And he said last season they negotiated me to 4 people quitting out of the challenge to get the big bag of rice. And he's like, but I might not be so lenient this time. The past is only an indicator of what you might do in the future. And he legit tells the audience, I'm going to try and get him 6 people out. I'm going
Yeah.
to try and really be harsh here.
Yeah. I'll
Oh,
give in. If they push, I'll give in at 4, but I want 6.
but he says, he's like, I might do 4, but next time I might like not, like, could you imagine season 43? He's like nothing more than 5, and they just change the rules, and they legit just say a number, no negotiation, just 5 have to sit out.
Yeah, because his phrase was literally the monster may have a much bigger appetite.
Yeah. So do you think this is maybe taking the place of the Survivor auction, and they're just gonna negotiate for rice every season now instead of the Survivor auction? Or do you think this is like a new thing?
Oh, I'd
Because the
hate to
Survivor
see a
auction hasn't
driver
been
auction.
seen in like 8 seasons.
I know.
It's been a
Mind
while.
you, they did away with food challenges too. I used to like those.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Right. Anyway, so the team pulls up, the tribe pulls up,
Yeah.
and Jeff says, if you want to sit out, I'll give you this one serving of rice, individual serving of rice. But if 6 of you want to sit out, if more of you want to sit out, I have a bag of rice here that will last you all 4 days. So it's a negotiation. And he let them go
Oh,
first.
do you want to do a little bit of role playing? Do you want to be the tribe and I be Jeff, or do you want to switch it up?
Sure, I'll be the tribe.
Okay. Okay, it's a negotiation. Whatever you want to give up, like make me an offer.
We want to give two people will sit out.
2 people. Two
You said
people, really?
You said it was a negotiation, Jeff.
All right, negotiation. 7. It's I love Chanel's comment. It's a non-starter, Jeff. It's a non-starter.
It's a non-starter. Well, so is 2. Anyway,
Oh, I love
so
that Jeff goes, all right, you want to play hardball? 7. Screw you.
yeah,
I loved that.
I want to. They negotiate for a while.
Mike throws 3 out on the table.
I know.
And Omar laughs and he's like, we're just gonna go up one at a time, are we? Okay, Mike.
And
Loved it.
Romeo's like 4 or something. Or wait, then Jeff goes, no, 6. And I'll tell you why 6.
I'll tell you why.
It's half the players.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, no. That's when Mike goes 3. And Romeo goes, no, 4. And I thought, okay, okay. Tribe members shouldn't be upbidding each other.
Yeah.
Right? Romeo, shut your
But
mouth.
let's face it, Mike's 3 was a bit of a joke comment. That
Oh,
wasn't going
yeah.
to be taken seriously.
Anyway,
That's a
somebody
softball
did
to
come
Jeff
down.
to fire back with 5 or something like that.
Well, somebody did come down to 5, and then somebody else went, no, 4, and then, yeah.
Jeff
Anyway, I
immediately
wound
goes,
up,
okay, they've been talking about it for a while. I'll do 4. But
but well, first, yeah, he did. But then a couple of people are like, I'll sit out. I know I can't win this challenge. I'll sit out. I'll sit out. I'll sit out.
yep.
So now you have 3 people, okay, Lindsay, Drea, and Marianne, and they need a 4th
No,
to sit
it's
out.
Omer. It's Omer. Oh, no, right. Mary Andrea and Lindsay. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So they're all, yeah, and that's when they get into a huddle, and Marianne almost goes into tears, plays on everybody's emotions, and goes, I might go home for this, but I know you all need to eat. And Omer is like, I'll sit out. And now they
I
have the 4.
I was impressed. I was
I would
like,
too.
Marianne, that's impressive. She knew exactly. Like it's like when High said in like when he's voting out Daniel, he was like, I realized in a split second he had no backbone, so I know I could push and he
Yeah,
would crumble. And yeah, Marianne knows how to tug on everyone's heartstrings much
absolutely.
much more than people give her credit for.
Oh,
Like that
totally.
was
I thought that was
impressive.
a really good move. And Omar, of course, is now being a good teammate. So it certainly didn't hurt his image. And he waited long enough to give everybody a sense that he wasn't overconfident.
Oh, he hesitated just the right number of seconds. Yeah.
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 And then was the ultimate good guy.
If he stands up first, his image doesn't look as good as it does now. Because
No,
now not only does everybody else on the team feel bad for competing, Omar
yeah,
looks like a hero for being the 4th one to
to save the
very
day.
smart. Very smart
Yeah,
decision.
yeah. Because then, of course, Jonathan is like, oh, you guys, thank you. There's ever anything I can do for you? Another thing you never say in Survivor, right? Now he's
Well, what
committed
does Jonathan
4
not already do for them? What does he not already do? He catches fish, he catches crabs, he catches squid. Like, what more are you gonna do, Jonathan, that you don't already do? Like, when Jonathan gives me that promise, I'm like, oh, so you've been half-assing it this whole time, Jonathan? Really? Like,
right?
anyway,
Okay.
what do you think of the challenge?
Well, I mean, I've
They had to
seen this
balance
challenge.
on a beam, 2 poles with some sort of floatable buoy thing in between that you had to
With
hold up on 2 sticks. Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, oh, I just don't even know. Okay, if Lindsay had been in this, I would say she would have won it.
That's fair. That's fair. She
Okay.
would have lasted longer than
Um,
High.
oh, he was
Immediately.
he was just choked. It was like up, down, right?
Yeah.
It was gone. Um, yeah, I didn't think Jonathan would last that long. I really didn't.
I didn't expect him to win this, no.
And I was really hoping Tori wouldn't get immunity, but she did.
I was really surprised at really how quickly everyone dropped because it came down to Jonathan and Tori very quickly.
Right?
It was a 2-horse race like the whole time. That was
Yeah. Yeah.
and what like okay, and I know okay, can I put my tinfoil hat on?
You got you do it. You do it. Let's hear it.
Last week High said when someone was targeting Jonathan, I don't like that because people are targeting physical players, and I think of myself as a physical player. High is probably the only survivor right now on the show that I would believe through that challenge on purpose.
Right?
I think Hai is smart enough to be like, I don't need to win this. I get rice because 4 people are sitting out. What am I doing? What am I doing
I
on
know.
this board?
I know. I
Like,
know.
maybe not. Maybe because the only argument I could see against that is they're all Survivor fans. They all want to wear the necklace. It's something
Yeah.
they can tick off their Survivor bucket
Yep.
list. So I
Yep.
don't like to think anyone would throw the challenge when it comes down to the individual game. But if
But you
Hai
know,
in a post game interview were to say, "Yeah, I did that on purpose," I'd be like, "I knew it."
see, sometimes that's the smart thing to do, though.
Yeah, but not many survivors admit to it post game. So
No,
either it doesn't happen very often, like at all, or they
I think it
all lie about it and are taking it to their grave, which seems
maybe.
kind of weird to me.
Well, it's not something that I think I would brag about. But if Jeff asked me at the reunion show if I did that, I would tell them. But
Okay.
it wouldn't be information I would offer.
Fair enough. Okay. So Tori wins again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
When Jeff
So now,
said no one else has worn this necklace but you, I was like, I I don't want to say I threw up in my mouth a little bit, but I got upset. I got upset. I was just like, oh, no one has worn their necklace but her twice in a row. I got physically angry. I was like, dang
oh,
it,
I hear
that's a true statement.
okay, so my thing is, we have talked in the last 3 or 4 podcasts about Jonathan. And oh man, once we get to individual challenges, he is just going to sweep the board. And I think it was you that said, well, if it's a puzzle, no. If it's this, no. If it's that, no. He's not winning anything right now. Is he throwing challenges to take the target off his back?
I don't think so. I don't think
No,
Jonathan's that clever.
no.
They
I don't
haven't. I
know.
mean, maybe he is. That's a possibility. I'm not going to say it's not a possibility. I just, nothing the show has presented to me so far really shows Jonathan as being that clever. I,
Mm,
I just, maybe he is, and I'd be happy to be wrong. Go, Jonathan,
okay.
go. If that's what you do, it's working, Jonathan. But I just
At the
don't think he's
beginning,
that smart.
at the beginning of this episode, I pretty much said that because I was talking about Outlast, Outplay, and the differences between Mike and Jonathan.
Yeah, the outwit
Now,
part.
now I'm going to give that whole thing a second thought because if Jonathan really is kind of stepping back from because he feels safe in an alliance,
That would tick all 3 of those boxes as to outwit, outplay, outlast. That's
that's
a
a
very
theory.
good point. Very
It's
good
a,
point.
it's a
Uh,
theory. Only a theory.
write that down because I would love to eat some humble pie at the end of the season if that turns
Yeah,
out to
there
be
you go.
true.
Right. I know. I know.
So after the commercial and after the challenge, they get
Mm-hmm.
back to camp, and
I
now
do.
begins the third act of every Survivor show where names are thrown out all the time.
Okay. Now, do you know who's in the alliance of 8? It's
Yes.
got to be Drea, Romeo, Roxroy, Lindsay, Jonathan, Mike, and Omar. No, Hai.
Hai and Omer. That's all 8.
Oh, okay.
Because what it started with a conversation of 4. So Drea was like, Romeo and Roxroy got my back, and Hai was like, I've got Lydia and Mike, and then Jonathan
Right.
was like, I've got Omar and Lindsay in my pocket, and yeah, things have been screwed up the past couple of weeks with Tori winning, but yeah, which is ridiculous. Like one of those. Well, I can save it for our predictinator. Oh, never. I've said too much.
That's okay. That's fine. That's
So
fine. That's
names
fine.
getting thrown out back at camp. Did you write some of these
Romeo,
down? Yeah.
Tori, Marianne, right?
Yeah. Well, not
This whole
Tori because she won.
well, no, but this is their original hit list,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Tori,
right?
Marianne.
Romeo, Tori, Marianne, and Chanel.
Yes, that was the original 4 at the merge. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, Tori wins immunity,
Yeah.
and Mike is in his glory.
He
Now's his
loves it.
chance to get rid of Chanel. It's like, oh, this
Christmas
is
has come early.
cute. Christmas has come.
Yeah.
He is. And then, of course, Romeo starts literally freaking out.
Well, okay. So let me ask you this, and it's something. Okay, because like to summarize it, and we can go into detail, but essentially you have to tell the person you're blindsiding, vote for this person, even though no one's throwing a vote down on this person. You have to tell the blind side, vote
Yeah,
for
you do.
Romeo, right?
To make them feel
So as
involved.
so as soon as that blind side talks to whoever's name they were given and are like, hey, people are telling me it's you. I'm I don't like to think I would overreact like Romeo did, but a part of me is also like, what do you expect? What was he supposed to do
Well,
if someone tells him
I
his
would
name is being thrown out there?
I would like to think that I would go to whoever I thought was the wisest in the group, right? And
Right.
just say, uh, we're still on the same page. This is the plan, blah, 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 blah. And then say, because she came and talked to me and said that you guys told her to vote for me. So we're still voting for her, right?
Right.
See, in seasons past, they have told the person. To me, Romeo should have been told, we're going to tell Chanel to vote for you. And it would have, but anyway, he loses his
Because,
mind.
well, you made a very good point there where it's like, I would go talk to my number one as to, is this really the
Oh,
case? And Romeo doesn't feel he has a number one anymore in Drea.
well, he doesn't. Well,
He sure doesn't.
she doesn't need him anymore.
He
She is
doesn't.
literally so survivor rich. She is Jeff Bezos,
Oh, that's true.
right?
That's true. Yeah, she doesn't.
Yeah. So, and she points that out. She's like, I mean, he was my number one, but now we're at the merge, and you know what? Romeo has to go. Romeo has to go.
Yeah. Do you?
And
It's. Yeah. Oh, sorry. You go.
he is not good for her game, and she knows that. And I think she's not coming right out and being adamant, but she knows that he needs to go. Yeah.
As soon as last episode, when he was like, "Oh, now it's the merge. I feel like a new man. I want to get out all the big guys like Jonathan." That's when I was like, "Ooh, Romeo, this doesn't sound like you for the first 6 episodes. Like,
I know.
this
Yeah.
sounds like you're not making it to final 3 with that kind of verbiage put in an episode." I
Yeah,
didn't know when, but
soon as the hourglass got broken and all of a sudden he was safe, he was like, "Oh, I'm good now."
yeah, walked around with his chest puffed out. Yeah. Turned
Yeah.
sideways through
No.
doorways,
Oh
big man on
wow.
campus, Romeo. Yeah.
Be a little grateful, right?
I know. Oh man. So yeah,
Anyway,
he
Tori.
freaks the hell out. High
Yeah,
finds out, and then High's immediate response is, "Do you want to just switch it to Romeo then?" I'm like,
yeah. Why don't we just do that? Why don't we just switch the whole thing around now? And of course, Mike is like, "Oh no," but doesn't overreact. Calmly goes to people he knows he can trust and says, let's just keep the plan the same. But does it rationally, doesn't look like a crazy person. High, on the other hand, is like, well, I don't know. I think we better blah, 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 blah.
well,
Right?
Mike has this thing where after he gives you his elevator pitch on why Chanel needs to go home, he immediately turns to High and goes, "Whatever you say, I'll vote with. Like, if you think this is a better call, cool. I think Chanel, whatever you say." And he does it in such a way where you have to be like, no, good call, Mike. You're not being a dick about it. Yeah, let's go with your plan, because you have to. Because he's being so polite and calm, and
Rational.
like, yeah, he's just sort of like, we should change the plan. Why? Mike's just,
Yeah.
why?
Well,
Like, do I need to tell you why Chanel's terrible again? Okay, here it is. But at
but
the end
I
of the
like
day,
the
it's your decision. Hi, whatever you say. And I'm like, oh my God, Mike's a good poker player.
oh, he is. So in his talking head, this proves it, right? Because in his talking head, you can tell he's a little concerned about it and says something along the lines finally of, well, I'm going to see how the first couple of votes go and then I'll know who I can trust. Right?
Yeah.
So he's concerned, but he's not running around like a lunatic.
Well, Mike, I would say, is probably the most trusting survivor left on the island right now.
Well, I don't know, trusting, calm. I think he's
If
calm.
someone shakes Mike's hands and said, I will do exactly what you say, Mike 100% believes you'll do exactly what you promised him. Everyone else is like, and shaking your hand like, I don't know. But Mike's
Okay.
like, we're blood brothers now. Like,
But as soon as you turn on him, that's it. You're done. You
exactly.
don't.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
no
Like
second.
Robert De Niro from that Meet the Fockers movie, where it's like Circle of Trust. As long as you don't betray that trust, he will take a bullet for you.
Yes.
But as soon as you betray that trust, I don't even want to suggest what he would do to you, but it would be
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
He'd probably walk up to your house while it's on fire because he's a fireman and just be like, who lives here? Let's go back to the house, guys.
Yeah. I don't know.
So essentially, yeah, it comes down to Chanel, Romeo names getting thrown around, or Marianne a bit.
Yeah.
So essentially, we go right to tribal. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we go to tribal? Because I kind of liked there was a Mike and Jonathan scene where Mike's trying to politic and he's like, "So who are we voting out?" And Jonathan's like, "I don't know. I was asking you." Because Mike is trying to slyly plant a seed, and Jonathan's
Oh, I
trying to be
know.
like aloof, and it's very
Yeah.
funny. Like, I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. What do
See,
you think? No, you hang up first. No, you hang up first. Yeah. Yeah.
that's another reason I think Jonathan is smarter than I think.
Oh, that's fair.
I think he didn't want to put a thing out there and make himself look bad. He's like, now you say it first. Either that or he really is that stupid. I don't know.
I see. That's the problem.
One
Is
or
I
the other.
don't know. It's the same thing I thought about Xander last season. I'm like,
I know.
are you really super smart or are you not? I don't understand it. Are you lucky or smart? I could not figure it out with
I
Xander.
know.
Okay,
I
so
know.
we go to tribal council. Now, I normally don't take a lot of notes on what they talk about on tribal council because the themes are always the same. Jeff asks questions about trust and yada
Yes.
yada and voting
Yes.
blocks or whatever.
Yes.
But
Numbers, blah, blah, blah.
yeah, even though he did the same thing this time, because I wrote in my notes, Jeff asks about trust and respect and if they are a unified tribe. And as much as a cliche question as that is, I loved everyone's response.
Oh, I know.
What did
I like
yeah,
I
you
like
first.
that Drea and High talked first, and from what they said, I immediately thought, okay, you guys are obviously talking about Romeo. You're voting Romeo out. That's what I thought.
100%.
I thought, oh, I wonder if everybody changed their mind. Is Romeo going to go? Like yeah, for a while there, I thought, yeah,
It
I don't
what did you think of Jeff really trying to shoehorn in the car analogy into the conversation?
know.
He
and
really
then
made it a thing.
everybody jumped in.
Oh, everyone jumped in. Like I was watching like a video online about, I can't remember what season it was, but they mentioned the same thing in couple like 36 or something about pilots versus passengers. and
Oh,
about the
yes, yes,
plane
I remember
crashing.
that.
Right.
Yes,
And so now this season it's drivers and passengers. But
yes.
Jeff doesn't care. It's a great analogy.
Oh,
He'll
it is.
jump on board and help it along, give it a
I
push.
think I think I liked Lindsay's response the best because
Oh, me too. Do you want to
he
say it?
asked
I
her,
loved it.
"Do you want to be a driver? Or do you want to be a passenger?" You know, and she's like, "Well, you know, sometimes you want to drive, and sometimes, you know, maybe somebody else could drive, and you could just take a nap because really, you're going to get there in the end."
Oh, that was so perfect. I love that quote. Sometimes someone else can drive. You can just take a nap. We're still gonna get there. I love that.
I know. And I'm thinking, okay, she has moved up in my favorite list now for being in
Oh,
Final Three. I think she is a
oh.
major threat now.
So that's like what was it last episode at the merge when Marianne's talking to what is it, Tori, and Marianne's like, yeah, a problem now can be a meat shield later, or a, you know what I mean?
Right,
And
right,
Tori
right,
was
yeah,
like, what did you just say, Marianne?
yeah. Oh, you
Huh.
can think?
So yeah, pretty much. So you had a bit of a moment like that with Lindsay right there. You were like,
Yeah.
hmm, okay. I really
Mhm,
love that line. I
mhm.
really love that line. And they really, I wish I wrote down more words of this stupid car analogy, but they, like, I
I
actually
know.
wrote in my notes, the car analogy gets out of hand. And then Hi says the title of the episode.
He does.
Do you remember the
Yeah,
exact quote?
yeah. You better be wearing a seatbelt. But he's talking about
If you don't want to
the,
drive, let someone else drive. And if you're not driving, you better be wearing a seatbelt.
yeah,
Great line.
yeah,
Everyone else
yeah.
is like, ooh, did you just think of that, Hi? That was nice. Good line. Like everyone sort of reacts like, that's
I,
solid. We don't even need to do a second take. That's great.
yeah, yeah.
But
Right.
that's a very good analogy. Like
I know.
as much as I wrote in my notes, this car analogy is getting out of hand. When Hai made that comment, I was like, that's solid. Yeah, if you're not driving, you better have an idol in your pocket or an alliance or something.
Yeah. Drea's got
Crazy.
a 6-point harness.
Like those big things that come down on roller coasters. You're strapped in. Yeah, yeah. Someone else has to put you in it. That's how professional it is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay. So then we get to voting. And were there any surprises here?
Oh my. Okay. I
They
gotta
keep
say,
you on the edge of your seat for the first 5 votes, and then it just goes
as
exactly how you would
soon as
expect.
my name came out, I went, Chanel did that.
I
That's
can
just like the Mike vote. Chanel did that.
I specifically wrote down the vote order because I've recently learned, and I don't know if anyone knows this, I don't want to ruin Survivor for you, but once they all make votes, someone on staff reads the votes and puts them in an order in the most dramatic fashion for Jeff to read.
Oh, I did not know that.
Sometimes they try and throw you off by leaving a vote in the box, and Jeff's like, that's all that's all that's needed. But
Right.
they are the votes once they're cast are like written for Jeff to read out in the right order.
Ah,
So it
okay.
starts with Hi, then it goes to Romeo, and then it goes to Chanel. That creates the most suspense possible because you're like, did everyone agree to split the votes? Like, what's going on?
Right.
Then it goes Romeo, then it goes Chanel, then it goes
Mhm.
Romeo, then it goes Chanel. So they did split 3 votes Romeo, 3 votes Chanel. You're right. Chanel definitely voted high, but because Mike did some very good politicking, the next 3 votes were all Chanel.
Okay. Chanel was not the high vote.
Oh, who do you think voted high then, Romeo?
Oh, I know. It was Romeo.
Is that, did they show that at the end of the episode? I didn't write down who voted who.
Oh, okay. So at the end of the here's another little funny thing about watching with family. At the end, they always show you who voted for who.
Yeah, the little confessionals.
So they showed you everybody. Unfortunately, my recording stopped in time for my daughter to say they showed Chanel voting for Romeo. And then uh, my recording stopped, so the screen is frozen, and Jess is like, "Who's that fading in? Oh, that's Romeo!" And it was. He was the only one they hadn't
Interesting.
showed us. Chanel, they showed
Interesting.
us Chanel voting for Romeo. Romeo
Wow.
voted for High. Yeah.
I cannot wait to see that shot in the dark from when they come back from tribal at the beginning of next week's episode. That's what it's going
Oh,
to
I
start
know.
with, is High being like, I guarantee you there'll be a talking head with High beginning of, like, within the first 2 minutes of next week's episode, where he's
Yeah.
like, yep, can't trust Romeo anymore. He's a snake. I'm pulling a
Yeah.
Mike impression. He's out. I'm like, maybe.
So anyway, they read the votes, and Chanel, I love. It's like, Chanel, bring me your torch, right? She jumps up, she goes over, she gets it back to the other contestants, and everybody's going, bye, bye.
Bye.
And
Bye,
she's like,
Chanel. Bye. Oh,
doesn't say a thing and just leaves. And I thought, because she is the first jury member.
right. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
she can count. You know how many people voted for her. Like, more people said bye Chanel than they voted with her. So, like, why is she supposed to turn around and go, "Good luck, guys"? I
I
don't think I
know,
would be
right?
one of those people that gets my torches snuffed and go, "Sorry, I'll see you guys soon." I don't think I would turn around.
I
Maybe I
know,
would
right?
maybe I would tap my number 1 on the shoulder and be like, "Damn, you got this, man," and then leave. But it's not like I would turn around and be like, "It was really fun playing with all you guys. Thank you very much for the experience." Like, I wouldn't do any of that.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. I know. Yeah.
So, we're gonna cap off, this episode with, the
But it
title
was,
of next week's episode.
oh, uh-oh. Okay.
Do you
I
wanna
don't
know
know.
what the title of next week's episode is?
I do.
Game of Chicken.
Oh, no.
Game of Chicken.
Oh,
Right?
really?
Game of Chicken. That's, I don't know if it's a game of chicken or just Game of Chicken, but yeah, that's, you're gonna get two freighters kind of barreling at each other, and I'm worried it's gonna be High and Omer, but could
Game
be
of
Tori and
chicken.
Roxroy for all I know.
Ha. Okay. All right.
So can do you want anything more before we send it out?
No, I think I'm good for the episode.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then see us back here next Sunday. We are starting a Patreon page, which you can see the extended intro and outro of this episode online. We will be putting links in the description when this video goes live. Well, I guess Sunday, today. And yeah,
Yeah.
bye-bye, Survivor fans.
See you next week.
Okay, now we're on the outro.
Okay.
Good episode.